Reytan, Day 10. It was a sunny morning in Warros, with verdant mountains gleaming clear. The eerie sound of the dawn chorus was heard first time in years. Some folk from far-off villages had started gathering at the hills. 'Twas time to worship icon images of saints whose sanction kills. Inside the royal palace within Cloth Hall, sartorial servants paid lip service to Reytan as he measured him all for garments fit for purpose. He wore pure black as hell, the finest black of darkest shade, with silver skulls instead of bells on false cap horns the hedges made. His dress more solemn than a crypt, his chiselled face sharp as a tack, black breeches and black shoes with pointed tips, big silver skull sewn into his black back. He cut a menacing sable figure in his garb, and even straightened his bent spine. Who caught his eye would feel disturbed by movements dark and serpentine. Powers sacred and a jester knew this well. Long and tortuous has been his path. Since King Sass had rung the night's death knells, it's been closer to his grasp. Skeletal fingers turned up in white around the Stygian bauble heart that formed the sceptre he held tight to sham a mastery of black arts. He knew this was his perfect time. Aurelia did her promised deed, denied paid for his vile crimes, and Sass removed the toxic weed. People harboured so much hatred for the blundering chevalier that Reytan could just stand there naked and still be so much more revered. He mounted a black stallion from Sass. This was his prize for loyalty and duteous valiance, as well as conduct just and wise. Then rode he out with a small posse of specially chosen men-at-arms to watch the celebrations, while he left the gates wide open so as not to cause alarm. He ordered some of his companions to disperse and ride alone. Go spread the word that debts and ransoms were forbidden from then on. He instructed them to show compassion in the face of hardship's peak, to offer access to king's rations, feed the hungry, cure the weak. To be fluid in their promises and to ooze transparency, to speak honestly on their policies and be upright through sincerity. To inspire to be virtuous, to be humble and demure, to be shrewd but not tempestuous, to be lucid, firm and pure. Many had now come to Reytan, granting the sky-high respects. Every village had priests waiting, offering canons of blessed texts. Growing was his grand repute with each liberal noble gesture, so calculating and astute was he in his pre-planned venture. He knew damn well that Sass was deaf to what his subjects longed to speak. Of hope and love they were bereft, their future twisted and oblique. He knew that preachers show their best through practice of the words they utter, and that people most oppressed are by and large the ones that chiefly matter. He shook their hands tight and firm, and spoke with softness and faux modesty. He feigned concern at every turn, and signalled virtues with dishonesty. A paragon of righteousness, a model of celestial morality. They sang to him Come enlighten us, O Reytan, champion of vitality. And one by one they paid respects to the angel of the dark, till the jester's intellect and perseverance made its mark. He rode through crowds of hungry folk, proudly strutting on his horse, grinning at his masterstroke of wholly lifting the night's curse. His head was clouded by the clamour of the masses in their praise, so he did not notice in a drama that his steed had gone its wayward way. Suddenly the forest overtook him, where no soul was to be seen, and everywhere he started looking, emptiness felt stark and mean. Birds had stopped their gossip too, and leaves on trees now failed to stir. Stillness stunned as silence grew in dingy darkness everywhere. All at once, the shuddering panic that his mind had settled into gave way to dread ever more frantic in the menace that ensued. He had never known such silence, and his pounding heart had told him so. Smothering, deadening, noiseless violence of this lonely void of woe. He commanded his dark stallion to go forth straight ahead, only to be met by one more alley with an end that was as dead. East was west, and north was south. Only clouds obscured the sky. Blackness opened up its foul mouth and swallowed remnants of daylight. Reytan stood now motionless in the middle of this vacuum, his sword held tight against his chest, consumed by cold, blood-curdling gloom. He could not move, nor would he want to, for fear of dying or fear of death. His face had turned a shade of sour blue from holding on to shallow breath. Then through this weight of horrid silence, faint bleak whispers came within, like a song of slaughtered sirens pulling at his frozen skin. Reytan, Reytan, we can see you. We can see what's in your soul. You can't fool us. We're within you. We know every lie you've told. Damned be gone, he cried to them, though not sure which way to speak. His mind was growing more confused, and body started to feel weak. Reytan, Reytan, we are watching. Every time you feign goodwill, you speak kindness, all while plotting how to perpetrate your next kill. Spirits of the forest, please, do not torture me this cruel way. I'm pleading on my knees, he replied in disarray. Reytan, Reytan, you're a shicer, mountebank, and charlatan, a self-serving scam deviser, skimming coward of a man. What say you? He gave to wrath. The knight was worst at conjuring sins. The ghostly voices up the path whispered back, "You're worse than him." Reytan slumped onto the ground, clutching at his broken heart, screaming agony with no sound. Anger tearing him apart. Clouds above him turned to black, swirling darkness mangled fierce, pushing down his twisted back till his mouth had tasted earth. Motionless he lay till night, dead inside, numb and empty. High above, two bright eyes of the eagle watching him